Diana did a sing through of a lot of songs, and we posted it on YouTube because people were curious if we would still play like our old songs, our catalog, and we wanted to show people like, of course we're gonna play that. That's it's a part of Delain, and of course people left. Charlotte, our singer, left, and band members left, but people also returned, and Delain is still Delain despite of that. And of course we're gonna play those songs. And when we put it on there, there were only snippets of songs, so parts. And
Yeah,
fans asked, "Can we please hear the entire version of Sleepwalker's Dream?"
yeah.
And that's one of the big reasons we also put out the EP, is because there's a lot of material on there that fans specifically asked for.
This is Ryan with Ethereal Metal, and I'm here today with Martijn of Delain, and we're going to be discussing their upcoming EP, Dance with the Devil, coming out this Friday, November 8th, via Napalm. Martijn, thank you very much for taking the time today.
Pleasure being here.
Yeah. So the last time we spoke was actually, I think it was September, when you guys were in New York City. How have you been since then?
Really good. Actually, I was just in the States last couple of weeks ago for 3.5 weeks. Did a road trip through the States, East Coast. So I was also in New York State and enjoyed fall, and I'm just back. So
Nice. You were in my state. I live in New York. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right, that's cool. I always like to start off by asking, what have you been listening to lately?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's funny because nowadays I don't listen that much to music myself unless I'm like working or if I'm traveling. So the funny thing was, when we traveled, we had this funny idea of making a playlist with the worst three songs of each of us, playing
Oh, interesting.
the
Okay.
songs like the music we dislike the most. It was really really funny to do. So I did that.
Okay,
Uh,
cool. Nice.
but the other way around, I think recently I listened to Two Steps from Hell. This kind of movie score music from
Oh,
the.
cool. Yeah.
I sometimes listen to the Birthday Massacre.
Okay.
Of course, the new Nightwish album, Yesterwind.
Yes, the wine. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of it.
You had that I think you were there for the listening session as well, right?
For Nightwish.
Yeah.
Um, well, no, Johanna and Thomas are friends, so I had the privilege to listen at their place when the master came in.
Yeah, right.
So
That,
that was really really cool,
nice,
and
nice.
yeah, it was really very very cool to listen to that album. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. All right, so let's dive in. So Dance with the Devil, kind of emphasizes more of a synth-driven sound. What inspired this shift, and how do you feel it enhances or changes the identity of the band's music?
Well, funny thing is, I'm this big 80s geek, which you, well, look at my shirt, for example.
Love Back to the Future. I love it.
Back to the Future. I
1.21
grew up.
gigawatts.
I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and so I really like that era. And of course, the kind of synth sounds you're talking about are also a little bit originated for me. That is from in that era, and I kind of always used it in Delain, but in combination with orchestral elements as well. And for these songs, I thought like, let's try to only do it with these elements and not use orchestral elements for a change. So that's what I did. There's literally no single string to be found on these new songs, and I love orchestral elements, but it was really nice to only work with these synth sounds, and that it gives a bit of a different vibe, and yeah, that was really nice to do.
I still feel the thirst in my eyes. It hurts when you think of me. Remember your words. Wow. Your name will always remind myself.
And so the title track expresses anger, sorrow with a blend of catchy synths, like you just said, but also some really powerful growls. Can you delve into the personal or universal themes even behind it and how they resonate with your audience?
Well, growls in general, I think, really fits us because I really love contrast in music. And
Yeah,
if you take a song like Dance with the Devil, it's a pretty friendly song to listen to until that middle part where the growls come in,
and all of a sudden, yep,
and then you take people by surprise. And I kind of like taking people by surprise. So that's one of the reasons it's in there. And of course, it also fits the song. The song is about if you're in a toxic relationship, when you cling on this relationship. It doesn't even need to be a romantic relationship. It can also be a friendship or something like that. And you cling on to that, even though it's not good for you. That's a little bit in that song.
yeah,
And
for sure,
growls are, of course, a very powerful way of expressing the emotion of what is frustrating about that. So,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's in there.
Yeah, so I went through something, very, very similar, which I think is part of the reason that song stuck out to me so much. And it lasted for like 11 years where I just kept staying and I kept, and it wasn't even a romantic relationship like you had said. It was someone who I was close with, someone who I looked up to, and it was just super toxic. And it took a really long time to break out of that. But, those emotions in that song really captured me.
That's
And now that you're
exactly it.
saying that,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's really nice to hear that resonates because that's exactly what it's about. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's great. Also, there's some societal themes in the reaping. It touches on society's like disillusionment and like consequences collectively. What specifically motivated you to address these themes, and how do you view the role of music as a platform for social commentary?
Um, yeah, those are two separate important questions. Let me
Yeah,
start by why this theme. Actually, my wife Robin, she writes
yeah,
a lot of the lyrics for Delain, and she chose this theme. And she had to think of this subject when she heard the music. And it's about the reaping is kind of reaping, like sowing the wind, reaping the whirlwind.
yeah,
That's a little bit it. And it's about that choices have consequences. And if you see how our society, where it moves, that yeah, there's really a lot of stuff going on in the world that is pretty nasty.
absolutely. Yeah,
And also not making a choice in something is a choice as well. And
absolutely.
and that's a bit where what she wanted to write about, and had made her think about with this music.
That's great. That's great. And so vocally on the album, Diana's voice is shining through, of course. I noticed particularly with Sleepwalker's Dream, the new version. Um, what has she brought to Delain since she started that aligns with or even enhances your vision, especially as you revisit classic tracks such as Sleepwalker's Dream?
Well, the thing was that Diana did a sing through of a lot of songs, and we posted it on YouTube because people were curious if we would still play like our old songs, our catalog, and we wanted to show people like, of course we're gonna play that. That's it's a part of Delain, and of course people left. Charlotte, our singer, left, and band members left, but people also returned, and Delain is still Delain despite of that. And of course we're gonna play those songs. And when we put it on there, there were only snippets of songs or parts. And
Yeah,
fans asked, "Can we please hear the entire version of Sleepwalker's Dream?"
yeah,
And that's one of the big reasons we also put out the EP, is because there's a lot of material on there that fans specifically asked for. And
yeah.
Sleepwalker's Dream is one of those.
That's great. Cool. And how would you say that you approach balancing the classic Delain sound kind of with these new influences that are heard in the EP And was there any pressure to preserve older material, like the essence of the older material while evolving?
No, actually, the pressure isn't there because
Nice.
fortunately we have also band members that were Delain in the first era, our drummer and our guitar player, and then of course me. So the sound is there anyway.
Right.
So I'm not afraid of that, and Diana has a very versatile voice, very flexible voice. She can do a lot and still does her own thing. And it's funny because some people say she resembles your old singer Charlotte so much, and other people say the opposite, not at all. Or
Right. Right.
funny, it's really in the eye of the beholder. I
Sure.
think I think she really has her own character, distinct character, and she is a very flexible in really good vocal technique. So it was really easy and a treat to actually hear her interpretation of the song, how
Yeah,
she
absolutely.
sang it. So there was no pressure at all. It was kind of a very exciting process. Yeah.
Cool, cool. And also, so I also want to touch on the alternate ending version of Underland. So for me personally, between the two of them, I like the new version a little bit more. I kind of like the way it ended. So what inspired this variation? And do you often find yourself wanting to reinterpret or modify tracks post-release?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that. No, because you're in your own bubble when you create a song, and
Yeah,
you get out of that bubble if you park it, and people listen to it, and you play it live, and also here fans were really wishing we that song to hear it without a fade out, because if you put a fade out in there
right, right.
and sorry, I got this
No, it's
bug
okay.
when I got back from the States. I got this bug and I just recovered, but sometimes it's still putting his head around the corner.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad you're starting to recover.
But anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the fade out. So it was very easy to make a version without the fade out.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, so that's cool. And also, so the EP, of course, also has the 9 live tracks as well. And I wanted to ask, are there any particular memories from those performances that stand out to you?
Yes, actually they were recorded at two special shows, one in Poland and one in Switzerland, and the vibe there was really amazing. And we record every show thanks to our sound engineer. Really, really grateful for that. So for us, it was very logical to take those shows and make kind of a mix of all the new songs uh,
Sure.
to put them on the EP so people can listen to them.
Cool. And would you say that there was any kind of struggle selecting which tracks that you wanted to use for it?
Yeah, it's kind of a kill your darling because
Yeah,
there's only so much space on an EP,
of
and
course.
you have to make choices. So we really wanted to make kind of a balance between old and new songs, so people could really get this impression of, hey, that didn't went to a show, like how is Delane nowadays? How is it performing those new songs? How is it performing those old songs? And that people really get a nice mixture of those. And I think
Yeah,
it
yeah.
quite well. Yeah, I'm really happy with the
Nice.
result.
Cool. I think a lot of the fans are going to be happy with it as well. I've been through the promo several times now. I've had a couple of songs on repeat, so I think it's
Ah,
going to be yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
thank
think
you.
it's going to be cool.
That's
Um,
really really nice to hear. Thanks.
yeah, of course. So with Dark Waters making such an impact on the charts last year, did its success influence your approach at all for Dance with the Devil, or are you trying to just break new ground regardless?
No, just regardless,
Yeah,
I think it's very important that you keep doing what you love to do, follow your heart musically, and that's what we're doing, regardless of the circumstances. Yeah.
yeah, right. Cool. So I want to ask you personally, as Delane's founder, you've steered the band through multiple phases and lineups. What are some of the most valuable lessons you've learned over the years about maintaining artistic integrity and longevity?
Um, Well, to me, it was all very um, an organic process because actually, from the very beginning, I have always been the main songwriter and producer and really kept this approach and, asked people's help and who did wonderful jobs with that. And but this was always the deal, like, hey, this is
Yeah,
what Elaine is, this is what we're making. Do you want to hop along on the train and do your part in it as well, and yeah, also get a little bit of your sound in there,
yeah, yeah.
and I think that all went very organically. And of course, we had kind of a big split a couple of years ago that was
Sure.
really tough, but since also original band members returned and yeah, some new band members that yeah, I was blessed with such a great team that it has been a very organic process. And to me, it's very important that the sound of Delain is still recognizable, the sound of Delain,
Absolutely. Yeah,
and that people can hear that. And I hope that is what we're accomplishing. Yeah.
absolutely. So I wanted to ask, so you have songs like April Rain achieving massive, massive streaming success. What is it about Delane's music that you feel connects so deeply with fans? And how do you hope that the new EP continues to build on that legacy?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, well, it's a very cliche, a very simple, and perhaps even disappointing answer. Here it comes, simply right from the heart.
Yeah,
Music
no,
and
absolutely.
emotion, and stay true to yourself and the music, the kind of music you want to play, you want to make, and if you are genuine, if it's real, then that hopefully resonates with people, and
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think that's very important.
That's one of the things I've noticed about Delane throughout the years is that regardless of what's, I guess, quote unquote popular, um, Delane has always stuck to what is genuine for you. It's
Thank
always
you so much.
been, yeah, absolutely. It's always been for me since I started listening. I actually saw you guys many years ago at Nightwish when you were in the States. And even from that point, that was the first time I had found out about you. Even from that point, moving all the way forward, it's something I've always enjoyed about the band, that the music is always very genuine. It's not about selling out to what's most popular. So that's
No,
definitely evident.
absolutely. No,
Yeah.
because and that's funny because if people say, yeah, that's commercial stuff. So, well, if we want to make commercial music, we have to get rid of all the distorted guitar, first of all,
Right, right.
because that's already not commercial.
Yeah.
And if I want to make commercial music, I have no place in metal because metal is not really that commercial nowadays, sadly, because
Agreed, agreed.
but it is what
Very
it is.
sadly too.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so make what you love to make. That's so important.
That's awesome. Cool. So following the release of the EP, are there any experimental directions that you're excited to explore? Any sounds or concepts that might surprise excuse me, any sounds or concepts that might surprise fans in future projects?
Um, my eternal challenge is to create more and more contrast, more heaviness, more
Yeah,
soft parts,
more
make
soft. Yeah,
extremer. And every time when you think you cannot do it more, try to outdo yourself. And that's what I tell myself and also others every album. Let's make this album more extreme in that regard. And
cool, cool.
that's something we'll keep pursuing.
Nice, that's great. So lastly, you have your North American headlining tour coming up in March of 25. And this time you're going to be with label mates Zandria and Edge of Paradise. What are you most looking forward to on this tour?
Well, first of all, touring North America because it's one of my favorite places to tour. I have this big connection to the States. My wife is from the States, so it's
Yeah, yeah,
my second home country. So I love to tour there. I love the fans there because the fans in North America are always very expressive, outspoken, so much positive energy, and I really, really appreciate that as well. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and of course touring with my bandmates and with Sandra, we toured with Sandra before multiple times. So actually, a lot of things to look forward to, and I kind of can't wait. It's still a couple months away, but
Yeah, yeah, it's coming
really,
quick though.
really excited.
That's cool. Martijn, thank you again so much for taking the time to chat today. I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing you guys in New York again in March. And for those listening, Delain's upcoming EP, Dance with the Devil, is out this Friday, November 8th via Napalm Records. There's going to be a link to pre-save and pre-order below. Martijn, thanks again for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.